Thank you for joining us today. And today we have Roy Sharma, the chairman of the Labuan International Insurance Association, to talk us through a little bit about the insurance industry in Labuan. But also before that, Roy, just to give the listeners and also the viewers a bit of context, this is an interview that we're conducting obviously remotely based on considerations, although you're actually just literally 15 minutes down the road. And the idea is very much to talk about the industry report, our 2019 numbers, but also to highlight that, it's the 30th year of our jurisdiction. And it's an odd year to be excited and celebratory about something, but we need to mark it. It deserves our attention a little bit. So I would like to talk to you a little bit about that as well as we move forward. A lot of people are still unaware that actually the insurance industry in Labuan is one of the largest pool of licenses. And you represent the largest stakeholder, licensed stakeholders that we have on Labuan IBFC. Looking at the results for 2019 first, what has been the reaction of the industry to the results thus far 2019, and how do you look at it from the profitability of the industry per se, which has grown tremendously, I must say, even though 2019 was a very tough year for the insurance industry, very hard apparently, and from a coverage point of view. So Roy, just walk us through all that and what your thoughts are, please.
Sure thing. Well, thank you, Farah, for creating this opportunity for the LIIA to express its views and its appreciation as well. Yes, it's been an interesting year thus far. But back to 2019, yes, I was surprised by the results of 2019. Because if you do remember, the insurance industry in Labuan in particular were rather doom and gloom last year. And especially with the changes that was happening in Labuan from a substantive point of view, there was a lot of negativity, at least in the first half of 2019. But we are all very pleased and surprised that we managed to pull through. Though profitability was very great, we hope that the top line would have been just as good, but there was a slight dip. But I think from a profitability point of view and looking at the statistics, almost 44% profitability, I think that's pretty impressive by any standards for that matter. So 2019 was good. And 89% of that income came out of Asia. And not Malaysia, which is even fantastic. So that was a pleasant surprise as well.
So Roy, talking about 2020, walk us through. What do you think?
Well, needless to say, we all know what's happening in 2020. Putting that aside, how does it impact the business? With regards to the insurance business, we are a little bit lucky when you compare to airlines and travel industry and so forth. So in that sense, we shouldn't really complain. But insurance is about paying claims. And obviously, insurance companies, in order for them to be able to pay claims in a timely fashion, have to be profitable. And the challenges for the reinsurance industry, and Labuan is very much part of that ecosystem, which we can't deny it, is that the impact that it would have on balance sheets of reinsurance companies. Now, Labuan is an international playing field where our members largely are international or regional markets and players. And invariably, they will be impacted by global activity and problems and troubles and what have you. Now, the concern that I have as an insurance player and as chairman of the LIIA is that how will it impact, especially reinsurers, their balance sheet? A lot of insurance companies and reinsurance companies, their asset size has been under a lot of pressure. The stock market has been horrible. They have suffered a lot of losses in the first quarter of this year. Though now the stock markets is showing a very different picture in the second quarter, so fingers crossed there's some hope there. My next concern would be the liability aspects of the balance sheet as well. And insurers are going to be paying a lot of losses. Having said that, um, strangely enough, we are a very sustainable industry and a sustainable business. Concerns that do exist, and they are real, but we are all about risk management, and we know how to handle these kind of situation. And obviously, it's going to have an impact on pricing. It's going to have an impact on coverage, which is going to hurt people eventually on the man on the street and so forth. And that invariably is the negative side of what COVID-19 and its consequences has brought to the industry. So Labuan as an industry will be affected by it. And our clients, which are insurance players, captives, and other type of clients and stakeholders throughout the Asia Pacific region, are going to feel this pain for 2020. Nobody knows how long this pain is going to last, Farah, but your guess is as good as mine.
You're right. I mean, Labuan's been around 30 years. It will be around for the next 30. Along the way, we've seen a lot of challenges. 1998 financial crisis, 2008 banking crisis, the recent 2014 dip. It's sustainable because, in my mind anyway, for what it's worth, it's diverse. It's a diverse ecosystem. So even when you look at the insurance industry, you've got 220 license holders. There is a nice balance between life brokers, reinsurers, insurers, domestic, foreign. So
Correct.
there is almost a balance within it as well. And you mentioned captives earlier. A lot of the work that we've done vis-a-vis captives actually has shown that there is a lot more interest in captives as a self-insurance vehicle, because the market has been harder and the market will continue to get harder. So, we'll wait and see. How have you seen the industry grow, the fraternity? Because obviously 220 people, and I've been to your AGMs, it's massive. It's like the UN, right? There's people from everywhere, from Africa all the way into Asia, East Asia, the Americas, Russia. How have you seen the industry grow? How do you see it growing in the future? And what are the key areas do you think Labuan can stand out as a jurisdiction?
It has grown a lot. I've been in Labuan for 13 years. When I first joined the industry and visited Labuan, I was already impressed as to how international and diverse it already was. And I always had the impression that it was more of an expat Malaysian kind of setup arrangement, but it's far from that at all. Yes, there are a lot of Malaysians who are involved, but their business is not necessarily Malaysian driven, much to my surprise, but it's very much regional business. And Malaysians are driving that development, which is great. And you see a lot of international players also being involved in Labuan. And that's what's great about Labuan, is that, as you rightly said, it's like a mini United Nations. And people from all over the world come to this little island in Labuan and they want to do business here. So that to me is quite amazing and fantastic. That is largely due to the hard work that Labuan IBFC has been doing in the last few years, that you and your colleagues have taken a conscious step to diversify Labuan and to bring variety to this island. And I must record an appreciation and kudos to Labuan IBFC for doing that. Obviously, as the business grow, there are going to be changes in the way that we should do things. And then with COVID-19, it has created a new normal, for want of a better word. And I think one of the most important areas that we need to develop is our way in which we should do business moving forward. There are certain traditional things that would remain. But I think, and Farah, you have said this in the past, where digitalization will have to play a very important and significant role. But in the last few months, digitalization, technology has become even more important. So I think one of the challenges that Labuan has is that how can we make use of technology and make Labuan, the insurance industry, a centerpiece, the Silicon Valley of the insurance world, where we bring talent to the island who can do research, create business opportunity, and our own version of our own sandbox here in Labuan, to help us brick and mortar guys to be more technology driven in our business.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And also, I have a pet project, as it were. I think there's a lot to be said about financial inclusion, insurance, insurtech, digitization, and how all that can create a new normal. I mean, I think it's time that we all relook at stuff. And I think if there's an opportunity for us to do better via financial inclusion, to allow for a jurisdiction that's very tax neutral, currency neutral, digital friendly like Labuan, clearly a huge insurance risk management center, to kind of push the financial inclusion agenda, allowing for everyone to have a base, a social safety net via the insurance industry, then why not? You know, I think it's something that's really great. I'd like to end our little short chat with something a bit more personal. What do you think is the best thing about Labuan Island?
There's a lot of things I like about Labuan. Well, first of all, it's a duty-free island. Thank you very much. But I think the most important thing I like about Labuan, and it might seem a bit blasé to say it, but it's the people. The people there are just amazingly warm, friendly, and they're always smiling. I think the next exciting thing about Labuan is, and I use the word exciting, is the regulator. They are just so accommodating. They listen, you know, and that's very important from a business point of view.
You paint a fantastic picture. And I have to agree, the regulator has got a lot to do with the marketability of Labuan. As someone who's out there developing the market for Labuan, I have to say that the marketability of Labuan on the back of the one-stop business facilitative regulator is fantastic. So Roy, thank you so much for spending time with us. As always, it's been a pleasure speaking. I look forward to meeting you in person, as we used to do quite often before COVID-19.
Yes.
And good luck with everything. Take care of yourself, and we look forward to see you soon.
Thank you, Farah. All the best. Bye-bye.